That's about it for now in this car. Done a lot of talking about what I did to this car, and I really wanted to kind of take it out and do a burnout. I'll have to save that for another time.
6 months later.
Welcome to Afternoon Garage. So today, got the car out on the road a little bit, gonna take and do a test drive in it. Tell you how that goes. Maybe we'll eventually have to hit that burnout and see how that works. But anyway, I got it finished. It's pretty much as done as it's gonna be. Now there's a lot of problems that you have when you build a car like this. Doesn't all come together all at once. So I've had to go through a few different things, some fuel related issues. I have a video on an air problem I had and a few other things, maybe some paint issues and that kind of thing. But overall, really happy with how it turned out. As I said in my first video, I really didn't purchase this car for myself. It was more of an incentive for somebody else. If you missed that video, go back and watch it. It's a really good story. But I'm beginning to kind of enjoy driving this car a little bit. Who knows how long I'm going to keep it, but if it runs as reliably as it does right now, be a good car to drive all year round. Typically in working on cars that I've worked on, I usually build replica cars, maybe fiberglass cars, a little bit of steel on it, maybe a steel chassis. But this thing is completely different. A lot of people who ran into me who know I'm interested in cars have asked me, have you ever built a muscle car before? Yeah, I have. I built a 64.5 Mustang, which I really don't consider a muscle car, especially since it had a 6-cylinder engine. But this thing beats all of that, and then some. Now, as far as my long-term plans with this car go, I don't really know where this car is going to take me. I think I would like to kind of package it up and send it off to somebody else who could enjoy it more than I can, because I'm more of a builder, a lot less of a driver. But that's okay, I'll tell you what, I'm having a great time driving it today. Let's see about that burnout. Hope he's not after me. I didn't do anything except for that burnout. Well, maybe it wasn't my fault. Whew, finally got the car back to the house. That was pretty violent. Didn't have to tow it back in, but hey, that's good whenever you don't have to have a tow. Even though I'm a AAA member, that could have gotten pretty ugly. But I really felt confident driving the thing back to the house because I kind of realized what was wrong when I was out there. Noticed that this tire shifted over probably an inch to an inch and a half, which kind of tells me something broke in the 4-link setup. Then the drive shaft started rubbing against the frame, which probably isn't ideal. But hey, I drove it home, just take it easy, just don't get into the throttle at all, and didn't do any rubbing on the way home, so I was happy with that. Let's stick the GoPro under here and I'll show you what happened. Now in comparison, you can see how this wheel is shifted over. And underneath, there's your link bar. So we'll get it on the lift and see what else is damaged. Well, here's the car back on the lift. Hopefully it doesn't spend all its life on the lift. I think the thing to do is just put it up, and I'm going to check everything that I've done. Check all the engine mounts. With that kind of violence going on with the drivetrain was probably actually a good thing, because what that's going to do is it's going to stress everything out, and it's really going to show you where your weak points are, because just remember, it's only as strong as the weakest link. All right, now getting underneath this thing, you can see the exhaust shifted over probably like an inch. Not really sure why that was. This was in the center. So I'll probably have to loosen some of these header bolts here and move this exhaust over a little bit. But more importantly, we have this link bar here. Now you can see the weld on here. You can kind of see the rust and see how much penetration actually was holding this on. Now I never welded this. The only place I ever welded these bars is right in the center here. I made a V-groove in it, and you weld them to length. But you don't weld the joints on because they already have the bushings on it. Here's the other side. It looks pretty good still. But one good thing is the welds on the frame up here are holding up really well. I really thought that this is kind of what failed up here, but that's so triangulated up in there and gusseted. I would be really surprised if that actually failed. And it didn't. So my work was good. Their work, not so much. So I think what we want to do is we'll take this off, we'll take the other side of the joint off, push the bushing out, make a complete weld on this, and then we'll check everything else. I did notice there was a jam nut here that was loose. That shouldn't be loose. And we'll check also connections like this. You know, your shock connections on either side. And this jam nut is loose also. We'll tighten up all the jam nuts. Make sure that all the hardware is really nice and tight. There we go. Looks like it just pulled away. There's very little weld right there. In fact, almost non-existent around the top. This is why I pulled away. See how very little was actually welded here. Here, it's worth noting, make sure and get a bevel put on the end of this. So when it mates up with that, you could have a nice fillet in here. You know, if that would have happened the first time, we wouldn't be doing this right now. Throw some paint on it, put the bushings back in, good to go. Well, that was kind of interesting. Kind of an easy fix, but I'm kind of worried about the rest of it. So I don't see any choice other than to go out and try to break it again. Guess we'll do that. They have a little bit of it's the way the gas pedal's kind of tuned. I think that the throttle comes on real heavy at first. I think I'm going to have to get HP tuners open again and, well, fix that, because I kind of drove it a little bit before and it seems like you just breathe on that throttle a little bit and this thing just jumps. Seems to be smooth though. sure about 40 pounds. About 45 pounds. That's not too bad, especially at idle. Of course, it's not warm yet. Wow, this thing scoots. I think it's about time for that burnout. One thing about this car is, you know, it really wasn't intended for me, but yet I'd never really done a 500 horsepower or close to 500 horsepower engine swap ever. So this is a learning experience in how to spend money. Follow through with things in life, and it gives you a sense of accomplishment you don't get by doing anything else. Building a car will definitely make you feel like you've done something in life. This air ride's good too. I really like it. It's very smooth. Feels like you're riding on a cushion of air. Yeah, there's nothing more nerve-wracking than driving a car for the first time when you get it done. You know, and when you get a car done like this, it's never done. Never done right the first time. There's always things you gotta work on, little things you gotta tune a little bit. Lots of time to do that. It's definitely not like driving an old 75 Firebird. This thing is, boy, when you put an injected engine in something like this, there's no flat spots, there's no weakness, there's nothing at all. No little quirky things you have to worry about, which is exactly why I described before why I did this motor swap. I really wanted something that's reliable, and definitely think I've achieved that. It's about time for that burnout. There I come back to the scene of the crime. So, talk about burnouts. Burnouts are really hard on your equipment. Really debating whether or not I want to do this. I set it up for it, so let's read those instructions. Figure if we can't break it again, well, I'll have AAA this time. Well, I followed the instructions on this card I made. They're pretty clear, but it's also pretty clear that maybe the airbags have something to do with the wheel hop in the rear. Maybe if I throw some bleach on the rear wheels, I wouldn't have so much issue. But you know what? Burnouts are really hard on your equipment. I highly recommend it, but hey, at least we got things spinning around. I stressed it out. Didn't look like anything broke. I get it back to the shop and look at it. But hey, I need more subscribers. So if you like videos like this, please subscribe. If you know anyone who would like these type of videos, just let them know. Well, till next time.